So hello, if you don't know me, my name is Candlin Green, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am now, but also the journey that I've been on. So I right now am a mother to three kiddos. One of them is a foster daughter that we are adopting next month, which I'm like super freaking excited about. And then I'm also pregnant with our third child. I'm a pastor's wife, and a photographer, Beachbody coach, and I'm kind of insane. I just kind of feel like all of you, I'm like, I don't even know who I am. What do I do? You know, it just kind of feels like that, I think, when you become a mom. But a little bit of my history, I actually started very young with an eating disorder. I remember when I was in the second grade, I was afraid to hit 40 pounds for fear that, like, once I hit 40 pounds, I wasn't going to be this like little special person anymore. Literally, I know it sounds awful, but it's just 100% true. Like, I thought the thing that made me special is that I was so little, and that I was, everyone always commented on, oh my gosh, you're just so little, you're so tiny, and so I just, like, at a young age, it was kind of like the way for myself to get attention. And so, I remember literally throwing away my lunch every day, except for my oatmeal cookie, which I ate. So I lived off of oatmeal cookies. Very healthy life choice. I'm sure I was getting tons of nutrition. And it continued on, and every time I hit like another age or another weight bracket, it would just almost get worse. Like, I remember when I was like really close to 100 pounds, and there was another girl in my class who was like right around, well, she was a grade above me, but we were really close. And she was right around 100 pounds too. And we were both like, oh my gosh, we can never hit 100 pounds, and it's insane to think about now, because I'm like, 100 pounds, that's like the size of a fourth grader. Like, what was I thinking, But like, it was just a struggle that I always had. And a lot of it stems from a lot of other issues, and we won't get into that. But I was just one of those people who I put so much of my value on how I looked and the weight that I was, and if somebody thought I was fat, if somebody thought I was thin, and it continued to get worse. And then in college is really when I had like my super bottom out, I guess you could say. And it wasn't just with eating disorders, it was with everything. I started having acne for the first time in my life. I don't know how I was so blessed to make it through high school without acne, but college hit me strong. And I've never been a person who wore a lot of makeup. Actually chose tonight to not wear makeup, just because I feel like if I'm going to talk about loving the skin you're in, then I need to love the skin I'm in and not cover it up. But I also am lazy and didn't want to put makeup on. So it's kind of my excuse. But anyways, in college, it was one of those things where I would kind of blossomed into womanhood, I guess, but I struggled with a lot of identity issues, and I very much so like would word vomit all the bad things about myself. And I got into this mode of like almost like pointing out all of my flaws, just in case someone else found them. I wanted to make sure they knew that I knew first. Like, oh guys, I've gained 5 pounds. I want everybody to know that I gained 5 pounds, so that like none of y'all can be talking behind my back, talking about how I gained 5 pounds, because I'm going to be the first to tell you. And I literally got into a point of like to the point where I would hurt other people around me, because of the fact that I had struggled with an eating disorder. I was not a big person. And so here I am, at that point in my life, I was probably the skinniest I'd ever been, and by far the most unhealthy. I was 106 pounds. And I'm talking to normal sized people who are clearly much bigger than 106 pounds. Like, that's very tiny. And, especially for my height, if you're 106 pounds and like that's healthy, it's what you are, good for you. But like, it was not for my height. It's not healthy. And so here I was saying these things around people who were obviously a healthy weight, or, struggled with being in a healthy weight bracket. And so how do you think that made them feel when here I am insulting myself, telling them how ugly and fat I am all the time? Like, I can't stop saying it. Like, I just want to tell, like, it's almost like I couldn't stop. It was word vomiting out of my mouth over and over how ugly and how fat I was, to these people who are like, well, if you think you're fat, how fat do you think I am? And it really finally hit me, just how my words were affecting other people when I was leading a Bible study, and there were two girls that all of a sudden stopped coming. And so I asked Haley, which was another girl in there, I was like, whatever happened to, Ashton and Carrie? And she's like, well, like, you constantly talk about how fat you are, and you're not fat. And so it hurt their feelings because they think you think they're fat. And it was like freaking roadblock in my face. And I was like, what the heck? Like, what the heck? Here I am hurting other people that I love and care about because I can't stop talking about who? Me. That was one huge eye opener for me. And the second one was when, after I had gotten married, I gained 22 pounds of healthy marriage weight. And my husband, of course, it kind of came back to me at that time. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like your old struggles like come back to haunt you almost. And so I just started again. It was like this word vomiting of insulting myself. And finally my husband said to me, he said, you realize when you insult yourself constantly, you're insulting me because I chose you. I love you. I think you're beautiful. And every time you insult yourself, you are hurting me. And I was like, whoa, I'm hurting you by the words that I'm saying. And so that was another really big slam in the face. And so after I had Dahlia, she's my oldest daughter, I realized that I really, really wanted to be a good example to her of loving myself where I'm at, loving the stretch marks because I got them. If y'all have babies and don't have them, I could just smack you. No, I'm just kidding. But loving my stretch marks, loving the fact that, my body might not be what a model looks like, but who's to say what a model looks like is better than what I look like, and who's to say that, just because one person thinks one person is beautiful, not everybody does. Like, if I described my perfect guy to you, some of you would be like, ooh, and vice versa. You might be explaining to me some, blonde hair, blue-eyed guy, and I'm like, no, thank you. And that's the same thing. So we got to love ourselves because we're all different. And that's what's awesome. And that's what's cool. And I love that there are women of all different sizes, all different shapes, all different colors, all different eye colors, no shapes, mouths. And so I've really spent the last 2 years, and I'm not going to tell you that it has been easy. It has been a struggle. Every step of the way. I have been pregnant and not pregnant and pregnant and not pregnant so many times that my body shape has changed a lot. But it is something where it's a constant thing. And so for myself, I want to help teach other women really just like how to feel good in their skin and how to feel confident where they're at, and really just like be that example for your kids, your family, the people around you, your friends, and that type of thing. So I'm going to give you first 3 tips that really will change your life when it comes to how you feel about yourself. And the very first one is your self-talk. How do you talk to yourself about yourself? If you're looking in the mirror, are you pointing out all of your flaws to yourself, or are you rejoicing in the beautiful things that you have that God created about you? So for instance, when I used to teach baton twirling, my coach, every time, like I said, I was always the type of person to point out my flaws. That was a struggle that I've had my whole life. And so I would literally get up to twirl baton, and you might think I'm a big dork because I was a baton twirler. It's okay. I probably was. But baton twirling's secretly cool, just so you know. Anyways, I would go up there to do a trick, and every time I'd be like, oh, I'm probably going to drop this. Well, yeah, of course you're going to drop it if you're freaking saying it 50,000 times. Like, you don't believe you're going to catch it. Ain't nobody going to believe it. And so she told me every time I said something negative about myself, whatever it was, I would have to say cancel, cancel, and then say 3 positive things about myself, which I will tell you was really hard at first to come up with 3. You know how many times I insulted myself? I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to come up with 3 more things I love about myself. But I'm telling you, it is so true. So what I want you guys to do is when you're talking, you're looking at yourself, you're talking to yourself, I want you, anytime you say something negative, anytime you think something negative, I want you to say cancel, cancel, and then think of 3 good things that you love about yourself. Because I'm going to tell you something, this is something I've noticed as a mom. I didn't know this before I was a mom. As a mom, I noticed that we want to see little pieces of ourselves in our kids. Isn't that true? Like, I secretly love when someone's like, oh, Daddy looks so much like you. Like, clearly they have not seen my husband because she looks just like him. But I love it. You know what I mean? Someone's like, oh, she's got your smile. Even though I used to judge myself for my teeth because I don't have straight teeth, I'm like, oh, she does. She has my smile. And there was once a video I watched. I want to say Dove did it. But it said that, like, they interviewed the moms and had the moms say what they viewed about themselves, good and bad. And then they interviewed the daughters, and almost all of them said the same thing. Isn't that interesting? Like, I literally always, one of the things is that I struggled with my arms. I always thought I had fat arms because my mom always talked about having Grandma Arnett arms, whatever that means in our family. That was her grandma's name. Oh, I have Grandma Arnett arms. So me and all my sisters were all like, oh yeah, we have Grandma Arnett arms, which she died before I remember life. So I'm like comparing my arm to some person who is dead, long gone. And it's like, our talk, our self-talk, it's revealed in our children. It's revealed in our kids. It's revealed in the people around us. And so every time you say something negative about yourself, I want you to say 3 positive things about yourself. Okay, next thing. My sister told me this, and it changed my freaking life. It's not just about how you talk to yourself. It's not just about how you feel about yourself. It's in every aspect of your life. If you're not a Christian, that's okay. I'm sure at some point you probably believe in something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't, but it's still powerful. Maybe you believe in the little like devil on your shoulder, an angel. I don't know. But I'm a pastor's wife, so I got to preach a little bit in this. My sister said to me one time, she said, don't you dare believe the lies of Satan, and don't you dare repeat them. And isn't that true? Like, we hear these little whispers in our ear from Satan when we're looking at a magazine on the wall about some, girl that's got a bikini on with the 6-pack abs, and we're like, oh, we hear it in our head, in our little ears. You'll never be as good as that woman, or you'll never look as good in a bikini as her. And what's the next thing that we say out loud? We repeat it. We're like, oh man, I'll never look as good as that girl in that bikini. Don't you dare listen to the lies of Satan, and don't you dare repeat them. And so when you hear those little whispers in your ear, I want you to say back, like, and then this is where you think I'm a weirdo. Sorry, Satan, but I was made by the Lord Jesus Christ, and I'm pretty sure that he made me perfectly and wonderfully, as it says in the Bible. So, you know what I mean? So do not repeat those things. Do not repeat those bad things. Take those out of your mouth. And the last tip I have for you is don't compare yourself to others. Comparison steals joy, 100%. And when you're comparing yourself to somebody else, you don't know what their life is like. You don't know what their story is. There's actually a dear friend of mine. Her name's Raina. And literally, she has one of the best bodies I've ever seen. Like, she probably could win fitness competitions. And you know what? No one knew that she had this silent, painful disease, and it caused her to have to get her colon taken out. Large intestine, but it had something to do with colon. I don't know. But anyways, now she has a colostomy bag. So here she is at the age of 30, my age, and she has a colostomy bag because she was in so much horrible pain constantly. From the outside, people would think, oh yeah, I would love to have her body. Everybody would say that. But would you love the pain that came with it? You know what I'm saying? And so don't compare yourself to somebody else because you don't know what their story is. You don't know. I mean, I think of, like, I remember specifically because I struggled with infertility and miscarriage for a few years before we had Dahlia. And I remember just hating my body because I was like, can't you do like the one thing a woman's supposed to do? Can't you freaking pull it together and get pregnant and like sustain a child's life? And I hated my body for it. And you know what? I had to learn that, like, well, one, I felt like I had to learn to love myself and love the body God gave me, or it would never work. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's like, I had to love the body God gave me before he would heal it so I could have a child. And that was a long journey. And it took a lot of prayer and a lot of scripture reading. But the thing is it's like, you only have one. You only have one body. You only have one life. And if you spend so much time hating yourself and hating your life and hating who you are, where is that going to take you? Is it going to take you where you want to go? Or are you going to stay right where you are? So that's a little bit about me. Those are my 3 tips. I'm going to hand it over to Jen. I don't know if she's in the same spot in your camera as mine, but she's right here for me. Jen, tell me your story.
Okay, so can you hear me? Wave at me if you can hear me. Hey, okay, great. So my name is Jen, and my story, I guess, started because I was adopted as a baby. And it's this whole big saga of details that don't make any sense. But I was adopted as a baby to parents who tried to have kids for 12 years. Finally got pregnant in year number 12, and were, older by then. And by the time they'd gotten pregnant, everybody knew. Everybody knew that they had wanted to have kids and couldn't I mean, it's 12 years and they lived in a really, really small, very rural town near Penn State in Pennsylvania, like smack in the middle. Everybody knows everything. And some people are nodding. So yeah, So everybody knows everything. Everybody knew these people wanted to have kids and they couldn't have kids. And so by the time they got pregnant in year number 12, everybody knew and everybody was excited. And then my mom went in for her 7-month appointment and the baby was gone. So she had, and my dad was at work. They couldn't get a hold of him. He traveled and he couldn't get back. And she had to give birth to her stillborn baby that she had waited 12 years for alone. And it was really traumatic and terrible. And that was in October, and September of the next year is when I was born. And they adopted me. They brought me to the house. And so it was almost a full year. It was this, it could have been a very healing thing. And I think in some ways that it was, but it also created a lot of pressure for my family because everybody knew. I mean, imagine that. Imagine the one thing that you want and everybody knows that you want it and you can't have, and finally when you just think it's you're 7 months pregnant, 7 months babies make it. And you finally get to that point and everybody knows that you lost your baby. I mean, what do you say? People are buying you presents already, So then you have to tell everyone and you're not pregnant any longer. And they're not very public people, so they didn't, want to have a whole thing about it. They ended up having a funeral and a ceremony and a burial and the whole thing. So it was just a big deal. And that relates to me because after I was adopted, it became my whole life. People were like, oh, well, I remember when your parents were waiting for you. Okay, great. I remember when you were brought home, when they brought you to the house and we held you and we prayed for you and the whole community, everybody in town knew who I was and that I was like this long awaited mysterious gift to the family. Oh my gosh, it was like a lot of pressure. And I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. And by a little bit, I mean I'm really a perfectionist, a lot. And so not only did I feel a lot of pressure, but my family felt a lot of pressure. My mom struggled a lot with anxiety. I struggle a lot with anxiety and depression and all of that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of it really had to do with the fact that I felt like I really had to be the fulfillment of everything everybody wanted me to be. And I kind of carried that through my whole entire life. I still do it. You know, I still ask my husband, I'm like, are you like happy? Like, I want to make sure that you're happy. And I want to like, are you good? Do you need me to make like 4 more dinners tonight? That wasn't very good. Why don't I just like, I just am constantly now a people pleaser because I feel like I have to be, you know? And I think for a lot of reasons, a lot of us feel that way. I think everybody feels that way to some extent. And that's been a lot of a struggle for me. And just dealing with that and anxiety, I mean, I would probably say I had eating disorders too, actually. Mine probably started in 2nd grade when I remember this little red-haired boy that I was madly in love with. Oh, so in love with this red-haired boy. And I know he was red-haired because my mom told me that she did not like red hair and I should not like this boy. For real. Notice that I dye my hair red now. I'm just gonna, you can just take that in therapy at all you want. I'm a therapist, so I already know why I'm doing it, so it's fine, but yeah. So, we still talk. We're good, kinda, on the phone. We live far away. It's okay. But we're good now. But I love this little red-haired boy so desperately and my little 6-year-old body. And I was like one of those teeny tiny people that people were like, oh, the wind's gonna blow you away. And I was like, okay, let's try it. That sounds great. Will it get me more attention? You know, because that sounds better than the attention I'm getting right now. And I love this little boy. And one day we were friends, this boy and I, and this boy told me that he liked the other girl, the really popular girl, the really cute one that had like the perm and the nice pants and like the shirt that cost more than $5. And I was like, well, if you like her, you're definitely not going to like me. Because she's pretty awesome and I'm like me. So there must be something wrong with me. And I remember going home that day from school in my neon awesomeness, because it was the 80s, the end of the 80s. I'm older than everybody else here. It's the end of the 80s. And I am so, Candlin, don't look at me that look. I am significantly older than you. It's true. You clearly don't know how old I am. And I went home and I looked in my neon-clad self in the mirror and I was like, well, everything looks good, so I must be too fat. And that was it. My mom was on diets all the time. We didn't have the same body type. I mean, you know, we weren't like genetically related. We didn't really look the same. She was on diets all the time. When I was in elementary school, I went on the cabbage soup diet with her. That was stellar. Your faces are great. So, you know, so by the time I was in 7th grade, I only ate nachos and I ate them for lunch because if I didn't eat lunch, my friends would get on my case. If I didn't eat dinner at home, my parents just knew that I was like slightly rebellious and I probably wasn't going to listen to them anyway. And they didn't want to hear my debate about why I didn't need to eat dinner. So they just kind of let it go. So all I ate every day was nachos and cheese, which is still like my favorite thing in the world to have.
Nachos and cheese, and I ate cookies. We were a pair.
Yeah, I know. I was all about the health factor. So, you know, I went through junior high, I went through high school. None of it was very good. I was like an emotional basket case and a mess, and it's very embarrassing. I try not to think about it, and I hope that all the people that I'm friends with from high school forget that any of that ever happened. And I really didn't hit puberty until college either because I wasn't eating. My body didn't turn on. You know, I had acne, like serious, but it got worse and I, you know, started to actually like, you know, get boobs in a real person's body and gain weight because I would once in a while eat. I met Nate, we got married and it kind of triggered everything a little bit. And I remember like the first 5 years of our marriage probably were hard and most of it was me because I was just not in a good place. I didn't like myself at all. And I figured that if I didn't like myself, that he wouldn't like me and he was probably going to leave and he was going to clearly find someone easier to live with than me. I didn't know at that time that he was almost impossible to live with. I was giving him way more credit than he was due because we're both tough to live with. If you know him, you're probably nodding. So he's tough. He's tricky and he knows it. And so am I. And so we had a tough 5 years. And I think that me being so hard on myself made it so much worse. you know? We've been in ministry our whole marriage, and the last 5 years we've been in youth ministry like full time. We were teachers, now we're youth pastors, and I think that's really when it triggered with me. Like I noticed how much I said it out loud, because I know I was saying it all the time, you know, like Handlin said, but I don't think I realized what it was doing to the people around me until then. You know, I was teaching elementary school kids, and then I taught middle school, and then I taught high school, and then we did youth ministry. And by that point, I'm talking to these kids, and I remember like saying things about myself to them. And I'm like, is this what I want them to grow up learning? Like, do I want them to talk to themselves like this later? Clearly not. Like I would yell at them if they said any of those things. I always do. You know, and I'm a therapist, and I'm like a terrible client because I do all the things that I tell everybody else not to do, you know? And I just realized that I was teaching them, this is the way women should talk about themselves. This is the way women should feel about themselves. And that's not helping the next generation to be any better off than we are. I realized when I had my son, he's just turned 6. I realized when I had him, when he was a baby, he used to lay on top of my chest or lay on my lap or whatever, and I would suck in my stomach. Because God forbid mommy would have a tummy. And then one day I was like, dang it, mommy should have a tummy. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, you are a giant baby, and you just came out of me, and I should have a tummy. All right? Because all I'm eating right now is like cheese sticks and crackers because you don't sleep at night, and I deserve a tummy, if nothing else, you know? So then it switched. Then I was like, I can eat whatever I want. I can eat whatever I want because I've earned it. And these kids should know that women should feel like, you know, like fine with whatever women should feel with fine with whatever their body type is. But that doesn't mean that I can eat Oreos all day and all night long either. You know, like the little moderation goes a long way. And so then I started binge eating, and then I gained like 25 pounds, and then I lost it, and then I got pregnant. And now my daughter is 2, and I have a 6-year-old, and I don't suck in my stomach anymore whenever they lay on it. In fact, my daughter's very favorite thing in the whole world to do is blow raspberries on my stomach. This is not fun, and I don't like it. And every time she does it, I'm like cringing, but she can't see me, so I'm like, just get the cringe off. Like you need to teach her that this is what a mommy's body looks like after it has a baby, and that is okay. You know? And I want my son to learn, you know what? Your wife might not have a perfect body, and that does not matter. I hope she has a healthy body for whatever her body is and whatever you want her body to be and whatever you're attracted to. I hope she's healthy. But it doesn't matter if she looks like me or your grandma or any, like that. None of that is important. Like, who cares? His grandmothers are both under 5 feet, so who knows what's going to happen with that. But like, it doesn't matter, you know? And I need to teach them that. And I think that kind of motivates me now. Like, I don't want to suck my stomach in, but I do want my stomach to be healthy. And I think there's a fine line with that, with me, and probably with a lot of people. So I guess that's kind of where my struggle is today. You know, like I'm just learning how to have a happy medium. And I'm a perfectionist, so that's not always the easiest thing in the whole world.
Thank you so much for sharing, Jen. I just love you, and I love your heart. And I'm excited that we're doing challenges together. And I'm excited for the women who you are bringing into the group, because I'm just going to love them from day one. Emily, your story is a little bit different, and it's one of my favorites. I told you this yesterday or the day before. So tell us just a little bit about you and your journey and your story, and yeah, tell us all about it.
Yeah, my story is like the complete, I would say like the opposite of you guys. Like, I have never been skinny. I'm not a skinny person. I mean, you guys ate cookies and nachos in high school. I ate an apple. That's it. I ate an apple for lunch. I played volleyball. I ran. And I still, like, I think maybe I was a size 10. And that is probably like the thinnest I ever was. And it was literally like I ate an apple all day. And it's just so funny that you ate like the exact opposite food that I did.
Still bad like I'm not sure that my 200 calories in cookie was really like
I mean,
didn't have enough food.
none of it is healthy choices. None of it makes sense. But I mean, I had accepted that, I kind of accepted this role. I feel like starting in high school and definitely in college that, there was pretty girl and there was pretty girl's friend. And I'm pretty girl's friend. Like there's pretty girl and she's who everyone's going to pay attention to and she's who like guys are going to pick up, and I'm pretty girl's friend. If you talk to me, I'm okay and I'm nice, but I'm not pretty girl. And that was just kind of my role. I met my husband. I I couldn't for the life of me, I had no self-love at that point. I couldn't for the life of me figure out like wh- why this guy kept hanging out at the coffee shop where I work. Like why was he just always there? What was he doing? And like he was friends with my friend Sarah, but he wasn't interested in Sarah, and I just couldn't figure out who this guy was. He was always doing nice things. When I was in college, always doing nice things for us. Like some creep in our building was stealing laundry out of the washing machine, and he was like, "Oh, I'll sit in your building and I'll like watch your washers for you." And I was like, I don't even get this guy. Like what is he interested in? Why is he always around? He must just be like a really good guy. And it took me forever to like figure out that he was even interested in me, because I'm pretty girl's friend, and pretty girl works with me at the coffee shop. So why is he interested in me? Why is he pursuing me? Because it's not a confidence that I ever had and thought that someone would be interested in me and like that. So, we got married. Like Candlin, we struggled with infertility. My hormones are completely out of whack. They still aren't where they need to be to this day, but we did every fertility treatment known to man. I did 6 IUIs that failed. I did IVF to conceive both of my daughters. They are 7 and 8 now. Crazy old, but and having them back to back with every like hormone injection and things like that, I went from being like not super skinny to just not even being able to control my weight at all. Like I spent a year doing fertility treatments, going to the gym every day, working out all the time. And it never even occurred to me during that year that I had no change in my body. Nothing changed. And I worked out, I mean, like much harder, I think, than I do now, and nothing changed for me. And I never questioned it. I was like, oh well, because I was so much more focused on the things that my body wasn't doing with, like Candlin said, like you're a woman, you're supposed to be able to conceive a child. And you're failing at the one thing you're supposed to be able to do. And so that was definitely like struggle, and did not bring me to love who I was, love myself, love my body, appreciate my body. And when you come to a point where you don't love something, you're not going to take care of it. And so it wasn't something that I thought of. I never put together like, maybe if you take better care of your body, maybe then you'll get pregnant. It was just, no, we'll just let all the people who do all the science and things like that, they'll work on that, but I'm not going to care for it. I will just continue to abuse it and not take care of it. I won't eat healthy. I won't even think about it. I'll just gonna eat. I'll go to the gym all the time. I'm just gonna eat. And so it took me a long time to get to realize it was, definitely was meeting Candlin. And we met through I think we met through a cloth diaper group, meeting her and watching her journey. And it had nothing to do with fitness, but just seeing a person who I loved and seeing someone that was just true and honest and vulnerable. And I thought, and her heart was just so amazing. And I thought, wow, I'll just be friends with her. I like being her friend. She is someone who is my tribe. She's someone who I like and is relatable. And one day she posted this picture of somebody who was like me. They didn't go.
Is anybody else frozen? Can you
A
hear?
little bit more fit, but it was.
You're
What? Am
frozen,
I
I
gone?
think, Emily. Can you repeat yourself?
Sure. Sorry,
Sorry.
we have a terrible rainstorm now, so you might lose me.
I was like so into it. I'm like,
Am I
I'm
back?
about to cry my eyeballs out, and then you're frozen. You said I posted something about somebody that looked like you or something. That's the last thing I heard.
Yeah. So you posted a picture of somebody, and it wasn't even a head. I could tell you to this day I have no idea who it was. It was just two like side by sides, and it wasn't somebody who went from like what I call skinny fat to skinny in tone to like magazine skinny. It was somebody who was so much more relatable, and I thought, huh, well, maybe I could do that. Like, maybe I could achieve that. And like, but I certainly didn't have like the love or confidence in myself to reach out and be like, hey, I want to be like her. And because Candeline's who she is, I just had to like a post, and she was like, what did you like about it? Like, tell me what you liked about it. Let me talk to you about this. And I thought, well, I mean, I like her, and I like everything that she seems to post. So maybe she can help me. Maybe she can help me be a different person. And I will say that, I have done challenge groups. I've done Beachbody programs. It's something that I realized around the same time. It's like Jen said, I realized around the same time I was in the locker room because my daughter was a swimmer. She's 8, she's a swimmer. And she was fat shaming some lady in the locker room. And I was like, oh no, we don't do that. And all I could think was, what does she think of me? Like, is that her attitude about me? And is that her attitude about her? And what am I doing to make sure that I'm raising this child that understands that we can all be different, and it is okay for us to have bodies that look different, and we just need to take care of our bodies, and that she doesn't know this person, and that self-care and self-love is important. It's not about being skinny. And so that's where I am with my journey now. I am in like 100% a better place than I was. I'm not skinny. I'm not going to be 120 pounds. That's not something that will happen in my world. And I'm okay with that because I am strong. I'm teaching my children that to be a strong woman, that they need to eat healthy, that they need to work out, and that those are more valuable lessons for me than having them be this skinny mom who's going to look magazine ready. So that's kind of where I am with my self-love journey. And I feel like it's brought me to a place where in the world of coaching, I wanted to share this with people who were more like me, who could look around and be like, oh, I can do it. I can be like her. I can work out and be fit and realize that this isn't just about like, I want to lose 20 pounds to go to a wedding. I want to be healthy, and I want to be strong, and I want to set the right tone in my home with food and exercise for my children. And so that's where I am with things.
I just love your story because I feel like there are so many different types of beautiful women. There just are. And you are just one of those absolutely beautiful women. And that's so interesting that you said, I'm pretty girl's friend. I think that's so funny because I think that's what I thought about myself in college, and I never like had the words to say it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't put it together. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm skinny girl's friend too. We have the same friend. But you know what? Or pretty girl's friend. But the thing is it's like, again, who defines what's pretty? You know what I mean? Like obviously your husband thought you were the pretty one. He didn't go for the other girl. So I think on this journey of where we're all just like learning about loving ourselves and learning about, what's important and what matters. And I don't know, it's just, it's so interesting to me. So I have a couple more things I wanted to share with you guys. And then I'm going to kind of talk about what our upcoming challenge is going to be like. And, but the thing that I want to share with you, I just got to find my notes because who knows where I have like 7,000 things. Okay. So this is something that I actually sat down and talked to my husband about, because he's like really wise. I don't know how I got him either. I'm just like, man, good job. Pat myself on the back for getting him. It was a pure accident, but, I would like to say it was from God, but anyways, one of the things he said that really stuck out to me is he's like, so many times we as women, we sabotage ourselves or we don't take care of ourselves because we don't find that we're worth it. We don't think that we are worth the time it takes to take care of ourselves. And as Emily was talking about with self-care, I mean, if you're a mom, it seems like self-care just like goes out the window. Like, I don't even want to say how many times I look like, do I even have deodorant on? When's the last time I showered? I don't even know. I literally was walking to see a friend today and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sweaty. I have no deodorant on. I'm disgusting. I should probably not see my friend today because we're so busy like scrambling around trying to get our kids to look like, my kids look freaking adorable every day. Well, until they eat, and then they're also disgusting. But But it's like sometimes we forget about taking care of ourselves. Like I was like, I am taking a shower before this call. Not that y'all can smell me because you can't, but I was like, I just want to be clean, man. And it just seems like it goes out the window. How often is it that you buy your kids clothes, and then it's like, oh, there's nothing left in the budget for mama. I guess I'll just keep wearing the same thing that doesn't fit me because I've changed sizes 50,000 times in the last 10 years, And, it even comes down to like, when's the last time you pampered yourself? When's the last time you painted your fingernails? When's the last time you did something that was for you, And it's hard. It is a hard thing to juggle because we put ourselves on the back burner. But at the same time, if you're not taking care of you, how are you going to take care of somebody else? And you have to show your kids that you're in yourself, you are worth it. You are worth taking that extra 10 minutes to do what it needs to do to make you feel a little bit better. And you know what? This is just a whole side tangent I didn't think of until right now. Like, if any of y'all are like me, you stay up way too freaking late because you're like, silence. No one is talking to me. And then what do? You stay up way too freaking late, and then you wake up in the morning and you're like, coffee, somebody. Am I right? And so that's where let's go to bed a little earlier, let ourselves get some good rest, and maybe get up 10 minutes earlier and drink your coffee before the kids wake up and make it crazy, that's something that I'm trying to do. That yes, you are worth it. You're worth taking that time to take care of yourself. The next thing, this is so huge and it smacked me in the face. The things we value, we take care of. So why don't we take care of ourselves? We value our kids. We make sure that they are fed and clothed and washed and having fun and learning and doing all of these things because we value them and we take care of them. He used this example. We used to have a Town and Country. Well, we still have it. Town and Country old van. It's in our driveway. Doesn't really run very well. And it literally always looked like trash. I'm not even joking. It's like the trash mobile. How much kid stuff can be packed in this van? And he's like, and then we just recently got a Honda Odyssey, which is way nicer. I'm not saying a Honda Odyssey is necessarily nicer than a Town and Country. Well, if you ask my husband, it is. But it's the fact that it's newer and runs well. You know what I mean? It's all of a sudden we are trying to take care of it and not make it this mom trash mobile. And it's because we find value in the new van versus the old van where it's stained another thing on it. Whoop-de-doo, And that's how we treat our bodies sometimes. It's why take care of it? Tomorrow I'm going to have spit up all over me, Why even buy a new outfit? Because I'm never going to get to wear it, At what point do we make ourselves enough of a priority? We value ourselves that we will invest in ourselves in order to be healthy, in order to feel confident, in order to feel valued. Because when you feel valued, you feel so much better about yourself. And I think that's another thing that's hard about being a mom. It's ain't nobody thanking me for changing those poopy diapers. Ain't nobody thanking me for making this delicious dinner. Mine are really young. Some of you probably, your 8-year-olds should probably thank you, but my 2-year-olds, thank me when I say, what are you supposed to say? Atticus is still not thanking me. He's only 1. So it's I don't even know where to go with that. You get what I'm saying, though. And then the last and most important thing that my husband talks about constantly, he talks about this with marriage, he talks about this with yourself, is choosing to love. Marriage, how does marriage last? If you choose to love your husband when he's driving you crazy, if you wake up and choose to love your husband, no matter what the day may hold, there's going to be days that your husband is awesome and, stops by at the Dairy Queen and gets you this iced freaking coffee that tastes like $1 million. And you're like, so happy I married you. And then the next day you're like, why are there 27 socks by the door that smell like butt? Like, what the heck happened? You know, and you're like, now I have to choose to love you instead of punch you in the face. It's the same thing with ourselves. We have to choose to love ourselves when we're doing well and when we're not. I said earlier, if you're only like, I'm going to love myself when I hit this specific goal, but you're not loving yourself in the process, then you're not going to love yourself when you hit that goal either. You got to love yourself where you're at and love yourself on that journey. And, you know, like I was talking about stretch marks, like I'm never going to get a tummy tuck and get rid of these stretch marks. They're just going to be there forever, you know? And I can either choose to be like, I hate them. Because I remember, just like you were talking about, Jen, your mom was always on a diet. My mom was on a diet. She is still always on a diet. What does that even mean? What does that mean? You know, it's like, what? Oh, I can't have that. I'm on a diet. What does that mean? It means nothing. It means nothing. But when you have a healthy lifestyle change, it is completely different. I have a healthy lifestyle. Do I still have sometimes an Oreo freaking coffee thing from the Dairy Queen when my husband brings that home? Heck to the yes. I will eat the crap, eat every single ounce of that deliciousness, and I will bask in this glory. But at the same time, I know, okay, I probably should like give myself some fruits and vegetables too. That would be a great idea. Anyways, but get off on side tangents. But you have to choose to love yourself along the journey. You have to choose to love these stretch marks, because, you know, I remember those years when I wanted to be pregnant so bad. And if you asked that young Candlin back then and said, hey, would you be willing to have stretch marks for the rest of your life if you're going to have a little girl? Now I've been like, heck to the yes. Definitely. No doubt in my mind. And so, getting back to what I was going to say about my mom. My mom, though, has always talked about how much she hates her stretch marks. Constantly. What do you think that makes all of us kids feel like? Horrible. Because we are the ones that gave them to her. So you've got to be careful about what you're saying. But at the same time, you have to choose to love every ounce of who you are. So now that I'm done with my side tangents, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're going to do with this challenge, because there's a couple steps to it, but then I'm going to save the best part for the end. So I hope you stay on and listen to that. So let me figure out how to screen share. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, wait, hold on. I want to start at the beginning of the PowerPoint. I don't want to mess up on this. Okay, perfect. Technology is not really my friend. Probably should have shared that with you. Okay, so what is a challenge group? First of all, it's a community of women who are cheering each other on along their health and fitness journey. And it's not just about health and fitness. The coolest thing about this is we're going to be talking about how tons of different things, loving yourself where you're at and feeling confident in your own skin and all of those types of things. Hold on, I should probably make this so it goes into like slideshow version. But anyways, this is Nicole, and one of my dear friends. She actually just made this amazing post about how it was like have sex with the lights on and feel confident or something. I don't know. But she just really struggled because she had 2 kids. She was a military wife, moving constantly. Her husband cheated on her, and they ended up getting divorced. And through these challenge groups, she really just like found herself again. You know, she had been giving, when I met her in Arizona, she was telling me that she was that mom that literally just like gave everything to her kids. She did everything for them. And to the point where like she never took care of herself, you know, and I think she's been a coach now for 2 or 3 years, and she's really just like found how to juggle mommyhood and taking care of your kids and taking care of yourself and really being that example to your kids. But I love this quote. It says, "Unity is strength. Where there's teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved." And I can just tell you that our challenge group, amazing things are achieved. So what all does it involve? There are 3 steps. 1, Shakeology. It's a meal replacement shake that is packed full of vitamins and nutrients. It aids in digestion, gives natural energy. It's a daily source of superfood nutrition and I think I already said gives natural energy twice. That's how excited I am about how much energy you get. That's how it's almost 10 o'clock my time, and I'm still really excited, even though I have 3 kids under 3 and I'm pregnant. So it is my lifeline. I'm telling you, if you're a busy mom, being able to drink a shake that is going to give you every ounce of everything you feel like you need. I call it my mom crack because it's just so amazing. But to be able to just shake it and drink it on the way somewhere is like the best thing ever. The very best thing ever. I can't even I remember before I became a coach and I had just had Dahlia and I literally struggled to eat during the day. I got to keep this baby alive. Ain't nobody got time to eat. I can't even go to the bathroom. It's like Tanya would come home from work and I'm like, I'm so hungry. I go to the bathroom. Because I just could not figure out how to do it and have a baby. I don't know. Now that I have 3, I laugh about that. But I think most new moms did feel that way though. And I'm not the only one. It's I can't shower. I can't do anything but stare at this child. But anyways, Shakeology, my sister was like, girl, you need some Shakeology. So then I was like, oh my gosh, I can just make the shake, pour it over ice and shake it. And it's like a drink and it's full of goodness and mercy. And yes, it is. It's amazing. I'm also pregnant and my doctor has said that I can drink it instead of a prenatal, except for I need to add folic acid and omegas on the side. So that tells you how good it is for you. Step 2, the meal program. It teaches portion control and a balanced diet. It's simple to follow. And it's been created by the top nutritionist. So in this picture, you can kind of see you get the colored containers and you can measure out your food in the containers. Certain things will tell you like a piece of bread counts as a carb. You don't have to shove your bread in there and take it out. It's you can just have a piece of bread. You're not cutting out any food groups. You're not going to starve to death. I did not know that I knew so little about how to eat healthy until I started this program. And we have tons of meals. We have tons of shopping lists if you want them. I will tell you though, I keep it simple. Just like that picture, I'm like, purple equals fruit. Put fruit in purple, dump it out on plate. I keep it simple. I'm not trying to make anything too fancy. Some people are fancier. The meal program is a little fancy, or the recipes that we can give you are a little fancier. But if you're like me and you're like, I just don't have time to think too much, just put your purple fruit or put your fruit in your purple container and dump it out. And also always dump it onto your plate so you can see what it looks like. So after about a month or so, you kind of get the idea of how much it is so you don't have to keep washing your containers. And this is a mom cheat, I'm just going to tell you right now, is that it's a great idea to just measure out a ton at the beginning of the week, put them in a Ziploc baggie. You can actually get colored Ziploc baggies from Walmart if you want to get real fancy. That's not me, but my sister is a total color coordinator, so she always does it that way. But you just, let's say you want carrots and green. Oh, dump them in a bag, zip, put it in the fridge. Bloop, put it in the fridge. So then when you're ready to run out the door, if you're running around like a crazy person like me, it's oh, they're already measured, ready to go. Next. Workouts. Okay, I'm telling you, I had no idea how to work out. If I had a gym membership at the Y for 2 years, I went one time, felt like an idiot because I didn't know what to do and didn't get anywhere with it, and I never went back. So the cool thing is that you'll have access to every Beachbody program for a year. We're going to start at your level and move up as you get stronger. So some of you are like, I've been working out for a long time. Okay, we're going to put you in a little bit harder workout. For those of you who are like, this is my first time ever working out, we're going to start you in a workout that's at your level, that's more beginner. Every single month we do these challenge groups. Every month we'll evaluate where you're at health and fitness wise and what is going to be the next best workout for you. You can kind of look on the right. I don't know if you're on a phone, it's probably really tiny, but that's kind of my journey. After I had Dahlia, I lost 41 pounds in a healthy, strong way, not in an anorexic way like I'd struggled with before. And then I got pregnant with Atticus. For the first time in my life, conceived naturally. Just like Emily had shared earlier, I also was doing fertility treatments to get pregnant with Dahlia, but I got pregnant naturally with Atticus. And then that's my journey after he was born. And then I got pregnant with our son, Elias, so if you look at me now, I look like a pregnant person. next, this is the cool part about the challenge group. And this is where I'm going to kind of share like the part that I'm like super, super, super stoked about for this next month. First of all, it's an accountability group. Everyone's going to encourage you. And you're going to have a lot of fun, and there's going to be prizes. The cool part that I'm like super stoked about is we have something specific every day that's going to help you focus on learning to love yourself. Whether it is looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself something positive, whether it's sharing a picture of yourself and telling us, you know, what's your favorite thing about your eyes? There's going to be, I don't want to give too much away, but literally every day it's going to be something that's going to help you get that positive image of yourself. And because that's going to be more important than anything. You can lose 40 pounds and never feel good in your own skin. Or you can learn to love yourself where you're at and have us encourage you on your journey. And you never know where you're going to be, but I can tell you, I feel better now at the age of 30, which I just turned 30, than I ever felt at 20, that I ever felt at 25, you know, and I kind of think like 40, I might even feel better than that, you know? So this is Jenny right here. She is like little Spitfire. She's another girl on our team I just love dearly. And she, in these pictures, she lost 25 pounds, but the biggest thing for her, as we've talked about, is, I mean, she just gained a lot of confidence. And it's not about, like I said, it's not about the losing weight as much as the learning to just love where you're at and finding a community of people who love you, like who just love you. Like, you're not going to meet a better group of women. I can tell you that right now. Here are just a couple testimonials. Is that the word I want? Yeah, I'll pretend that is. Of some people who have been in our challenge group. So I'm going to read them to you because it's really freaking small. So Megan said, I began Beachbody, my Beachbody journey in April of last year, and I can say that it's truly changed my life. Our team's constant support, love, and encouragement keeps me motivated to continue a healthy lifestyle. 25 pounds down, more energy, and more confidence than I've ever felt. Brittany, I love Brittany so much. Her and I struggled with infertility together. And I just kept praying, God, please let her get pregnant before me. Because I just felt like if I got pregnant before her, it would be the last straw that broke the camel's back. And, you know, it just seemed like everybody that she loved had gotten pregnant before her. And she also had 2 miscarriages. And so she found out she was pregnant on a Thursday, and I found out the following Tuesday I was pregnant. We were due 1 day apart. Answered prayer. There you go. Anyways, I'm going to read you what she said. Before Brittany got pregnant with her son Simon, she had some personal stressors that caused her to drink wine and eat a lot due to depression, and therefore her weight went up to 230 pounds from 185. A lot of that had to do with the infertility and just struggling with that depression. She knew she needed a change, so she started a 21-day fix after she had Simon, and she got into a routine and was addicted to the weight loss and the feelings that it gave her. She now weighs 145 pounds, and I can tell you she was one of my first challengers, and her birthday was just on the 23rd, and she messaged me and said, "You're never going to believe it." And I'm like, "What? You're 30?" Because she's like right below me, like 2 weeks younger than me. I'm like, "What? You're 30?" She's like, "I forgot my Shakeology for the first time in 2 years on my 30th birthday. Can you even believe that?" And I was like, "You're going to have to go home and make like birthday cake Shakeology because it's your birthday." And she's like, "I know, but can you believe, like 2 years?" And she 100% believes in Shakeology. She's maintained this healthy lifestyle. She's so much happier. Just seeing her in her marriage is, it's been awesome to kind of just watch her journey. But the last person I'm going to share about is Erica. And I don't know if you can see the first picture. I think it says 230 pounds. My thing's like covering it up. And then that second picture, she was 170 pounds. It says, "This journey has been life-changing. These challenge groups have been one of the biggest differences in my life. These ladies are not just coaches. They have become some of my closest friends through this process," which is bound to happen when you go through something with someone who completely believes in you. When you accomplish something that you never thought you could do and you know you couldn't do on your own. I just love it. So, okay, sorry. I can't obviously control my clicker. No, I'm not even on the right one. Okay. So that's just a little bit about some of the people who have done these challenges with us before. But I wanted to tell you something that a couple women have shared with me this week who have decided they're going to commit to this next month. Several of them have said, I struggle with having sex with my husband because I'm worried about what's jiggling. And it's ruined our sex life. It's causing our marriage to struggle because of how I feel. And I can tell you, I feel like it's okay for me to talk about it because I'm married. And I mean, I guess, whatever. Like when it comes to your husband, like you have to be able to feel confident in who you are in order to have a strength in that area. And a lot of you know if there is a struggle in that area, it causes a struggle overall. And it's the same with your friends. If you're constantly talking about how bad you are or how you look or what you hate about yourself, it's going to cause a relationship struggle. And the thing is if you can't love yourself, it's hard for other people to love you. And if you can't love yourself, it's hard for you to love others. So those are just the last little tidbits I wanted to share. And then I know a lot of you are probably like, how much does this cost? What does this all involve? Well, I'll just tell you because that's how I am. Okay, normally this challenge pack costs $200, but it's on sale right now for $160. And some of you might be like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. And some of you might be like, that's really cheap. I'm going to tell you why it is cheap. You get a month's supply of Shakeology, which is approximately $4. A meal, which I can tell you right now, like is cheaper than McDonald's. It's cheaper than your Starbucks coffee. If you live in Bellefontaine, Ohio, which I know Andrea does, it's cheaper than your maple latte you get from Native, which is my favorite thing in the entire world, I think. It's like $4.65. I don't know. It's cheaper than those things, and you spend those on other things, but why don't we invest in ourselves? Why don't we invest in the things that make our lives better and healthier and stronger? I know all of us want to be able to run after our kids and chase them and keep up with them and feel confident and show them that that confident side, because we want our kids to be confident when they get into school, and some of you already have kids in school. But we don't want our kids to be saying about us, oh, she was always on a yo-yo diet, and so that's what helped cause me to have eating disorders. We don't want that. So I can tell you this is going to be one step to not having that. And $160, I would pay, well, I can tell you right now, I paid more than that for mine. But anyway, so approximately $4 per Shakeology month supply. Sorry, I went off on a little tangent there. $10 for your meal program. That's the little colored containers I shared about earlier. And we'll help you along the way if you're confused at all. And I'll also tell you get more than one container. When I first got them, I about panicked. I was like, I'm about to starve to death and die. The program gives you a category that you fit in, and it tells you how many of each container you get. And as you lose weight, you lose containers. So anyways, I thought I only got one of each, and I was like, I might not make it through this. Like, this is terrible. And then the last thing is your workouts. You get access to them for a year, which means that we as your coaches are going to help you for the next year, really on your journey of loving yourself, learning how to be healthy, learning how to take care of yourself as you go along. So that is the cause. That's the end of my little PowerPoint. So now I can look at you all again. I want to know if anybody has any questions. Does anybody have any questions for me?